Hey guys, if you're watching this video, that means that you have followed the instructions and that you are already on the right track. So, that also means that you should have this worksheet up as well. So what you're going to want to do is you want to have this video and this worksheet side by side. So like right here, you should have the video that you're watching right now. So this way, as you go through the PowerPoint, or as I go through the PowerPoint, you can simply stop it and fill in the answers here. Okay? And you should also make sure that you save this document, or already have it saved, so you can save it as you go through. So this way you don't take these notes for nothing in case something happens to your computer. So here we go. Alright, so we've already talked about the body paragraph, and what's going to happen is whenever we talk about the body paragraph, I'm going to be using the term TEXI, which is right here, T-E-X-I. And you're going to kind of understand what that means. It's more of a way for you guys to memorize how to organize the body paragraph and how you're going to format it. So the T stands for topic sentence. So this is not going to be in your worksheet. This is more just a review because we already talked about the topic sentence. So just as a refresher, the topic sentence tells what the body paragraph is about. It includes the topic and what you are going to prove. And it should not be a fact but must be an opinion. It's not a question or a quote. Should not be too specific. So for example, throughout this PowerPoint, we're going to piece together a paragraph using the TEXI format. So your first T, topic sentence, is right here. In this story, Crash, the main character displays a drastic change through his actions. So remember, you must have a topic and what you're going to prove. So in this sentence, what is the topic? The topic is the main character. We're talking about the main character. And what are we going to prove about that main character? That the main character changes in some way. So the rest of this paragraph is we piece together regarding the main character within the story and how that character changes. So that's T. Up next is E, explanation. Once you've written your topic sentence, you want to give an explanation. This explanation provides information about what is going on in your quote. Who is in the scene? Where are they? What is happening? So you're explaining what's happening in the scene where your quote is coming from. You're also going to begin to relate your book to the topic sentence. This should be more than one sentence long. Okay, if you're giving enough detail about the quote and you want to talk about who is in the scene, where are they, and what is happening, this should be at least 2 sentences long. Some things that you want to use when you're writing the explanation. These are called signal words or transition words. So first, second, third, one, another, or also, or finally. And this will make more sense as time goes on. So for example, we've done our topic sentence, now we're going into our explanation. The main character is seen as a very competitive person, especially with a boy his age named Webb. However, one day during a race, the main character notices Webb's grandfather in the stands watching. As a result, the main character comes to the conclusion that Webb's grandfather deserves a gift. So what have I done here? I've given information about what's going on. I haven't given the quote yet. I've simply given background information so the person reading this is going to know what's happening. And it's relating it back to the book. Next up in TEXI is the X. So we've done topic sentence, explanation. Now we go into our example. So you're going to give an example. It can be a quote, it could be a specific detail, it can be a fact or a statistic. It's something concrete that gives evidence to your statement. This basically proves your argument. Remember, we talked about how your topic sentence is an opinion. Well, now you're going to prove your opinion as a fact by giving a quote, actually, to prove it. Whenever you give your example, or whenever you do a quote, make sure you identify the speaker and cite your quote. And some signal words for this, which do not always need to be used, would be for example, an example is, for instance, to be specific. So the next step here, using the continuation of building our paragraph. To be specific, the main character suddenly realizes only one person could give the gift. It was him. So notice here I've done my transition, right here to be specific. I've identified the speaker, the main character, and I've cited it. We'll go more into citations later on, but understand that basically what a citation is you're identifying the author of the story and the page that you found the quote on. This will be very important, especially when it comes to in-text citations and plagiarism. Next, you're going to talk about the importance of this quote. Why is the point you've made in this paragraph important? What does it mean to the story or the film or the event? So these are two questions that you should ask once you've done your question. Once you've given your quote, actually. So two questions that you need to ask. So for example, the main character, who is mean and competitive, is suddenly struck with the idea that Webb's grandfather deserves the opportunity to see his grandson win a race, and as a result allows himself to lose in order to do something nice. So this is relating back to the topic sentence. You're now breaking down and explaining how your quote proves your point. If you want to take it a step further and analyze it further, basically you want to explain, how does your quote prove your point? The narrator's decision to let Webb win shows that even though he is competitive and is not fond of Webb, he is caring about others, thus displaying a shift from a negative to a positive characteristic of sacrificing something for himself so Webb can do something his grandfather is proud of. So yeah, it's a little long-winded, but there's a lot of information in here, and you're explaining or answering that question of, what's your point? How have you proven your point? How have you taken your opinion and made it a fact? Once you've done that, you're going to transition, because your paragraph technically is not done. When we do full body paragraphs, we will be doing multiple examples within a body paragraph. I'll start you off with using just one, but as time goes on, we'll add to it. So you want to have your transition. This sentence introduces the next point you will make about your topic sentence. This is where you will continue to use your signal words from the explanation slide. So that means your signal words first, second, third. So at this point, you're going to say, secondly, or another example of, and then after that, you'll eventually use finally. Once you've reached this point, you repeat it again, and then you start over at explanation. You're not going to start a topic sentence because you've already written your topic sentence for this paragraph. And then you want to add more examples that relate to the topic sentence. So overall, your whole outline of paragraph should look like this. Topic sentence, explanation, example, importance, then you transition. So these are the big four. Here's your TEXI, right? Then you transition and you repeat it again. Explanation, example, importance, transition, explanation, example, importance. So here's essentially, I know it looks like a lot, don't worry. This is essentially taking every piece of the TEXI that I've given you with the examples and put it all together. It should all make one big paragraph. So in the story Crash, the main character displays a drastic change through his actions. The main character is seen as a very competitive person, especially with a boy his age named Webb. However, one day during a race, the main character notices Webb's grandfather in the stands watching. As a result, the main character comes to the conclusion that Webb's grandfather deserves a gift. To be specific, the main character suddenly realizes only one person could give the gift. It was him. The main character, who is mean and competitive, is suddenly struck with the idea that Webb's grandfather deserves the opportunity to see his grandson win a race, and as a result allows himself to lose in order to do something nice. The narrator's decision to let Webb win shows that even though he is a competitive and is not fond of Webb, he is caring about others, thus displaying a shift from a negative to a positive characteristic trait of sacrificing something for himself so Webb can do something his grandfather is proud of. So that's your whole first section. Then eventually you'll transition, you'll do another explanation, another example, and another importance that still relates back to the main character changing through his actions. So that's just one topic. So that's basically the format of the body paragraph. It seems like a lot, but when we break it down and do it piece by piece, which is what we're going to do, it'll kind of come together a lot more easily. So at this point, hopefully you've either stopped or you've been paying attention and you've had it side by side and you've been able to fill in these answers. If not, go back. Each of these questions or each of these notes relates back to that particular slide. So go back to the explanation slide or the example slide if you didn't get these answers. That's where they will be. Once you've done this, once you have finished this, what you're going to do and what you're going to pull up is this here. This is the worksheet we worked on the other day with topic sentences. You're going to go back to topic sentences worksheet, which you should have saved and which should have your notes on it. You're going to scroll down to the second page, as you see here. And it says identify the topic in each sentence by highlighting it yellow and the ideas by highlighting it blue. If you need to go back to your notes, feel free. But what you're going to do is only numbers 1 through 5. All right, so once you've completed your notes, you should be completed by now. If you have time, you can do it now. Otherwise, finish it for homework tonight. All right, so here's your example. This, they circled it and underlined it. I want you to highlight it. If you're not sure of how to highlight, what you want to do is, say you think it's this, right? Say you think this is your topic and it needs to be highlighted yellow. You highlight it, you go up here, make it yellow. And if you think this is the answer here, for idea, highlight it, click up here again, and make it blue. All right? You only need to do 1 through 5. You do not need to submit it through Haiku. I'll come around tomorrow and check it just to make sure, and then we'll go over it. If you have any questions at this point, feel free to email me. I will try to check my email if you are having problems with the notes or any of the homework. All right. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow.